Welcome to Minding My Money. I'm your host, Shawnee, and this is where the journey to financial freedom is real, raw, and a little bit fun. I'm sharing my wins, my lessons, and everything in between, $1 at a time. Now, before we jump in, let me say this. This ain't financial advice, just financial realness. This episode is about the grind before the glow up. The small jobs, the long hours, the late nights, the early mornings, and all the ways you had to make it work when no one else saw the vision but you. It's about honoring those unpolished parts of the journey. The seasons where you were barely keeping it together but still refused to quit. Every dollar earned reminded you weren't stuck, you were resourceful. This one's for the ones who get it out the mud, one shift at a time. My first real hustle moment, well, of course, I've said it a few times, but in high school, I got my first job in the 11th grade, and it didn't take long to realize $50 to $100 every 2 weeks wasn't enough. I was working, going to school, making some of the best grades of my life, and still it wasn't enough. By my senior year, I picked up a job at a daycare. So I'd leave school, drive just a few lights over, and work until almost midnight, go home, finish my homework, sleep a little, and then I did it all over. That was my first taste of real hustle. I wasn't managing money, but I was proud. I was getting good grades. I was able to get myself a prom dress, get my hair done. I learned to show up for myself with my own income. Now let's fast forward into adulthood. The hustle looked different, but the grind was still real. After nursing school, I entered the workforce working 12-hour night shifts back to back. Yes, I was getting paid, but it still wasn't enough to keep up with my life. There were weeks where I worked 5 12-hour shifts in a row, and maybe 6 in a row. Exhausted wasn't even the word. I was barely functioning. It wasn't safe for me or for the patients, but the need was real. I needed the money, so I kept pushing. If that's your story too, this episode definitely is for you. Let me be real. There's nothing glamorous about bedside nursing. I started working in the adult care, and while patient care is meaningful and very necessary, there is so much people don't see. The physical part wasn't the hardest part. Yes, you deal with bodily functions and emergencies, but that wasn't what broke me. It was everything around the care, the politics, the mean girl culture, the microaggressions, the racisms, the unsafe ratios, the underpay, and the decisions that put my licensure and sometimes my life at risk. My scrubs weren't worn for aesthetics, they were worn for purpose, for stability, for survival. And as a black nurse, well, I was held to a different standard. If I spoke up, I was aggressive. If someone else said the same thing, they were assertive. Some days I wanted to fight back, but fighting back meant feeding a stereotype I never asked for and never deserved. In nursing, you're either part of the culture of bullying or part of the culture of silence, and I refused to be either. I wasn't a bully, but I wasn't going to be bullied either. And because of that, I always saw the political piece behind the attempts to silence me. That pressure didn't break me, it fueled me. It pushed me to want more, see more, and grow out of spaces where staying would have meant dimming myself to survive. I wasn't just working a job, I was building something bigger. So let's shift in how dollars can build discipline. So my first real job was, of course, at the sandwich shop, and I was not good at it at first. Matter of fact, I sucked. I had to learn time management, organization, and prioritization skills that followed me into nursing. And as my nursing career grew, my roles did too. I started in adult care, then I moved to pediatric bedside care, then I moved to the clinic. I was a charge nurse. I've done case management and utilization review. Now I can say I'm in the best job I've ever had, and I'm still growing in my field. Back then, budgeting was simple: pay the rent, pay lights, try to have food, and for me, that basically was it. I wasn't thinking about wealth, I was thinking about staying afloat. Get the money, spend the money, escape, enjoy. But I learned the hard way: if all you do is work and spend, you're really not living. I was too tired to enjoy what I bought. Some months I could barely cover the rent. Some months plans got canceled. But through it all, I kept learning how to stretch, to manage, and grow. There were seasons where payday felt like a sigh of relief, now a celebration, and I find myself asking myself, do I pay the bill that's due now or the ones that'll hurt me later? Do I get gas or groceries or do I rest and do another shift? And that's when I learned prioritizing. You see, budgeting wasn't a spreadsheet, it was a survival strategy. And when you start choosing peace over pressure, even in small ways, that's when financial maturity starts to show. My side hustle wasn't selling scrubs or doing hair. My side hustle was survival. When money got tight, I didn't chase cute gigs. I picked up extra shifts. It was unsafe. They were all back to back and they were exhausting. I worked 12-hour shifts back to back, 5, 6, 7 in a row. I stacked them right on top of each other because I needed that check. But it wasn't safe, not for my body, my mind, or my license. Then came critical staffing pay one time. And so this is like a pay bonus if you work so many extra 12-hour shifts. So I would push myself shift after shift after shift. But when I reached that last shift to get that bonus, they decided to end the bonus pay. And it was like all that sacrifice, no reward. That moment changed me. It taught me the difference between hustling for income and hustling away your health. That's when I said, I deserve better. My future deserves better. And I'm not staying stuck here forever. And that was the moment I started choosing intentional money, not burnout money. There was a season where busyness felt like purpose. If I wasn't working, I felt guilty. If I wasn't picking up a shift, I felt behind. If I sat still, I felt lazy. But I wasn't being productive. I was just running from burnout. My bills never slowed down. My responsibilities, they never paused. So I didn't either. I pushed and I pushed and I pushed until one day after a double shift, I just collapsed mentally and physically. And that's when I learned rest isn't optional. Rest is a part of the hustle. Because if you crash, the mission pauses anyway. Burnout taught me that rest isn't a reward, it's a requirement. Productivity without peace is just self inflicted exhaustion. You see, managing money didn't happen for me overnight. It was slow, gentle, and gradual. It started with a conversation. This conversation happened back then when my boyfriend was just my personal trainer. He was my friend, someone I trusted, someone who talked about money with confidence and intention. And I'll be honest, it was attractive. A black man handling his business, yeah, I was paying attention. And one day, I felt safe enough to ask him for help. Not because I was helpless, but because I realized I didn't have to do everything alone. From there, the learning began. Little lessons, small shifts, more reading, more observing, more intentionality. Then came the finance YouTubers, the podcasts, the creators who made money feel less scary. It wasn't a switch, it was an awakening. I leaned into it, I grew into it. And that's how Minding My Money was born. Not from perfection, but from progress, from wanting peace instead of panic, clarity instead of chaos. It wasn't about chasing wealth, it was about chasing stability, safety, and self trust. There was a time social media made everything look like goals. But the truth, you don't really know what people sacrifice to get what they have. You don't know the shortcuts, the burnout, or the pain behind their picture perfect feed. Inspiration is fine, imitation is not required. Your path is yours, your pace is yours. Some people start with investors, some of us start with tips, late night shifts, and prayer. But all are valid, both are hustle, both count. Eventually, I learned that every season of lack was teaching me stewardship. Once I started saving, tracking, and setting goals, something shifted. Money started flowing through me instead of slipping from me. I didn't need more jobs. I needed more discipline. I needed clarity. Now, hustle means something different. It's not grind until you're gone, it's grow until you're grounded. I don't chase every opportunity, I choose the right ones. I don't prove my worth through exhaustion, I protect it through alignment. But wealth without wellness is still poverty. If you're still in the early stages, juggling bills, second jobs, and side hustles, I see you. And hear me clearly. This part matters. The struggle is shaping you, the grind is growing you, the discipline is developing in silence. You'll look back one day and realize this was the season that made you unshakable. You're not stuck, you're stacking one shift, one check, and $1 at a time. Thanks for tuning into Minding My Money, where every dollar has a story and every story brings us closer to financial freedom. If you felt inspired, learned something new, or just vibe with the journey, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs it. You can also catch more content and behind the scenes moments on YouTube and Instagram. Just search Minding My Money. Until next time, keep minding your money $1 at a time.